Hello, my name is Tanya McIntosh. I'm a piano teacher at Vincent Music, and today we'll be discussing major scales. So why is it important to learn major scales? Well, it is important because for some of your pieces, it may contain a major key. So all pieces will contain a key, and that sets the tone of that song, that performance. And sometimes it can be the key of C, key of D major, key of F sharp major, so on and so forth. So it's very important to just get started. And the best way to get started is just learning your major scales. So learning how to, and as well, learning how to do finger technique, create that clear and evenness you want, and also understand the process and the patterns it may have in comparison to other scales that you may come across, such as minor scales, arpeggios, so on and so forth. All right, so how can we figure out the number of sharps or flats a scale have, the major scale have? Because normally you come across various kind of scales and has various number of sharps and flats, so on and so forth. So what I like to do is refer to a number one rule of major scale, and that is the pattern of the major scale, which contains a tone, another tone, a semitone, tone, 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 and lastly end on a semitone. And then as you descend the scale, it's this same way: semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone, and tone. Now, first off, what's a tone or semitone? Maybe that needs some clarification for some of you. So a tone basically contains two notes or two half notes, some would like to call it. So let's say, for example, I'm starting on C and I want to find the semitone, or actually, sorry, the tone of C, starting on C. So I'll count from the black note, up a black note, that's a half note, one half note. I count down another half note to D, a tone between C and D. If I wanted to find the semitone starting from C, okay, I count up a note, a half note, and it would be a semitone between C and C sharp or D flat, whatever you want to call it. So that is tones and semitones. If you need more clarification, please do not be afraid to comment below. So let's just get started on first C major. So we need to figure out what are the sharps or flats in C major and how many. I just got started by just writing down all the notes of the C major scale from bottom to top, top to bottom. Got C major, C. Next thing will be D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C, and in the same way back down as you're descending on the scale. So let's just get out a pen and just write down the tones and semitones. So the first thing we need to write down is a tone. So C and D, we already figured it out, it's a tone, and it follows the rule up there, so we don't have to add any sharps or flats to it. D and E, all right? The next one is a tone, so we need to find the tone between D and E. So we count from D, half note, half note. It just stays the same. So no sharps or flats there, right? So it just be a tone. E and F. Now we need to find the semitone. You know, are there any sharps or flats between E and F? Let's have a look. So I'm counting from E, a semitone. So it'll be half note, one note. So that is the semitone. A semitone between E and F, it just stays the same because you count from E, one half note, don't need to make any changes. So semitone. And if you just continue from there, so F and G would be a tone, G and A will be a tone. If you keep counting from here, F, half note, stay the same, that's a tone. We're to keep on following the rule. G and A, half note, makes a tone, still stay the same, don't need to add any more sharps or flats. A and B, so we want a tone, so count, half note, they stay the same as usual. And then a semitone, B and C, got only one half note between B and C, so it stays the same. We don't need to add any sharps or flats to make it a semitone. And that is C major. C major contains no sharps or flats. So that if we're writing down the key, we don't need to write down any sharps or flats for C major. It stays exactly the same. Now let's then move on to D major. So D major, again, I just wrote down all the notes from D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and the same way back down. So we want to keep on following the rule, the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So we need to make a tone between D and E. So we're counting from here, half note, stays the same. Don't need to make any changes, no sharps or flats. That's a tone, all right? E and F. So now this is where we need to make changes, because if we count from E to F, it's only a semitone apart, and it's asking us, the rule is that there needs to be a tone. So how do we make it a tone? Well, we need to just add in another half note. So half note, and then we add another half note, and that is F sharp. So we need to add a sharp to F to make it a tone between E and then F sharp. So I'm just going to add in a sharp there next to F, and that will become a tone. And then we need to make a semitone, come from F sharp to G, so half note, and that automatically becomes a semitone. And then you just continue from there. G and A, we found out from C major, that's a tone. A and B, we found out from C major again, that's a tone. We still keep on following the rule. We need to add a tone between B and C. Now again, same thing we're going to do just like between F, E and F. So come from B, half note. We need to make another half note to make that tone. Keep on following the rule. C sharp. So we add a sharp next to C, and that will be a tone, and then that will be a semitone between C sharp and D. Because you count from C sharp, we got D. And that is D major. And then the key signature would be F sharp, and made a little mistake. That's accidentally wrote it on D. It's supposed to be on this baseline here to make C sharp, because we figured out our sharps and the key signature became F sharp and C sharp, so we write it down like that. Now the last thing we're going to do is E major. We're going to keep on still following the rule of the major scales. So we got E, and we need to make a tone between E and F. Whoopsie, it's a semitone apart between E and F. So we need to add another half note, which would be F sharp. We add the sharp to the F, and that will make a tone. Easy as that. We need to add in another tone, so we're counting from F sharp to G sharp to make that tone. If we just did F sharp to just natural G, then it will be a semitone, and that is not following the rule of major scales. So do that. And then we go to semitone. So G sharp, going from G sharp, we need to make a semitone. We just go down to A. So just like, ooh, it's a little bit messy. I'm just trying to figure out where everything goes. Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. And then it's just semitone, tones for the last three. So we got A and B, so that's a tone. And then got B and C. Whoopsie, and there's another semitone. We need to make that into a C sharp, because we count from B, half note, that would be a semitone, another half note, and then we made it a tone, C sharp. Just like that, boom, got it right there. And then, oopsie, we need to make another tone. We need to keep on following the rule, okay? We got from C sharp, So then we need to make a half note to D. That will just be a semitone. So we need to add another note, another half note, and we'll be landing on D sharp. Just like that. And then lastly, last one will be semitone. So we just go from D sharp to E. There you go. And that is E major. That is all the sharps of E major. So if we're writing down the key signature, it'll look something like this. It's a little bit uneven, but hopefully you get the idea. I'm just gonna write that down there so a little bit clearer. And that is C major, D major, and E major. And we found all the sharps of D major and E major by using the rule of the major scales, the tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone, tone. And this can be applied to all major scales, and as well to the flat scale. So example, F major, and so on and so forth. You can use a visual indicator to help you figure out the tones and semitones, or if you're already adjusted to the geography of the keyboard, the piano, then might as well just use your brain to figure it out. Just a visual indicator in your head. Where does my tone and semitones go? But if you're not comfortable just yet, perfectly to draw a picture of it, or just have the piano beside you just to, even better visual indicator of where the tones and semitones and where all the notes are. I hope that video helped you. If you want to ask any questions about it, you want to know more, please do not be afraid to contact Vincent Music. You have a good day, and I'll see you next time.